There are 5 exercises that you're doing in the gym right now, that you could be replacing with ones that might be better. Which ones? Stay tuned to find out. Deadlifts. Why are you smiling at me or like creepy like? Deadlifts. Deadlifts aren't terrible. It's a great exercise.
And on raw stimulus, deadlifts are awesome.
Awesome.
But it's a lot of fatigue.
It's a lot of fatigue. For muscle growth, which is what this whole video is about, range of motion matters.
Absolutely.
And the deadlift is not a very high range of motion exercise.
Yeah.
The deficit deadlift is. It's probably better to extend the range of motion. That means letting your back round for higher rep sets, like you're seeing in some of these demos. So do we recommend every time replacing deadlifts with deficit deadlifts? No, and we won't make any recommendations here that are every time. But if you want growth when you've been deadlifting a while, and you want to increase your results, improve your stimulus to fatigue ratio, target the muscles of the back and the legs better, the deficit deadlift checks a lot of boxes, which is why we recommend really giving some thought to at least trying it. Slow on the eccentric, gentle touch. You can round your back. It's actually really good, but ease in, start with sets of very manageable 10 to 15 rep loads. Is it brutal? Yes. Is that what you want? Yes. So you might consider replacing your cable tricep pushdowns with easy bar behind the neck overhead tricep extensions. Again, it's not like a for sure thing you have to do and one is worse and one is better. The number one reason why we're recommending this replacement as an idea you could have is that the pushdown occupies this cultural space in lifting as the tricep exercise. And some people are doing it just because of a lack of creativity or knowledge that other exercises exist. The overhead tricep easy extension is a great exercise. Another thing about it is it allows you to engage the long head of your triceps and get a massive stretch. And remember, for a good overhead easy extension, keep your elbows pointed forward and in, and touch the very back of your neck while your elbows jut out this way. You don't have to push your elbows back up. You can, but if you push your elbows forward as the bar comes down instead of trying to ratchet them up, you're actually gonna get the biggest stretch of the tricep under the most tension.
And we seem to find that it actually feels, so if you're having elbow issues, and this is the reason you took out, people will call it a French press, if the reason you took out most of those types of variations, this seems to feel better for a lot of people's elbows.
Yes, and for grips, you can go inside the easy, you can go outside the easy, you can do both. It's a variation. Some people really like one or the other for their shoulders, for how their elbows feel, for the range of motion they get, how their triceps feel. Give all these a shot. No wrong answers here. One arm rows are an awesome exercise, especially because they let you get that crazy deep stretch at the bottom if you do them properly, and counter rotate your body so that you're not leaning into it, you're leaning away from it and letting the back stretch out. The one arm row is a real go-to exercise for back, and a lot of people don't know that you can do 2 arm rows and just same exercise, except not perched on a bench, just standing there freestyle and then reaching down and coming back up with 2 arms at a time. The biggest advantage for 2 arm rows is that you do functionally the same amount of work twice as fast.
It's one of those exercises too that it's kind of like a split squat. You're so fucking out of breath by the time you're done with the one arm that you have to wait way too long between each arm.
It's really an equivalent weight if you think about it. And then it's really like a full set and then rest and then a full set.
Yeah, so it's tough.
It's just doubling the amount of time you spend at the gym. The 2-arm dumbbell row is awesome, especially if you get a real deep stretch. And as you'll see in these demos that Jared is doing, coming up a little bit at the top and really clicking the dumbbells back towards your hips, that allows you to maintain mechanical advantage such that you don't run out of strength for the lats. You arc so that you can finish that range of motion. It gives you the deep stretch and that powerful contraction. As far as weights, Jared, to use on the 2-arm row, they're a little bit humbling, aren't they?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I wouldn't start with the same amount of weight you're using for the one-arm dumbbell.
Oh my God,
because oftentimes people just heave the hell out of the 150s and shit.
100%.
You're not doing 150s.
No, you're not going to do 100s either. You might do like 50s or something.
It's a lot easier to cheat on a one-arm dumbbell row than this, which is also why it's a really good variation.
One of the reasons the one-arm dumbbell row is so kind of popular is because of the following algorithm that most males run in the gym.
The same one deadlifts use.
Yeah, it's like input point 1, must train X muscle. Input point 2, must use as much weight as possible in said muscle. Must choose exercise that allows me to lift more weight for said muscle. Intercept point 4 is must use kind of technique in that exercise that lets me use the most weight for, what was that first input point? We have to train a muscle? I didn't even remember that one. But the 2-arm row is just not sexy enough or loadable enough for people to do it. You have to bend over, which is hard, but great for your back. And so exercises that are very tough, but not egotistically flattering are like probably actually goated movements. Exercises that are, you can lift a lot of weight in to, really help your ego out, but it's easy to lift a lot of weight. You're just flexing it in Lindsay in the gym because she's got that ass. But Lindsay doesn't care about you. As a matter of fact, every morning Lindsay wakes up and takes a whole lot of pills to just keep it together for the world. She's not even thinking about you, bro. Front squats are an incredible exercise for weightlifters in the sport of weightlifting that is seen in the Olympics to develop their front squat ability so that after they catch a clean, they can front squat it up. It is a technical exercise. For overall leg size and leg strength, weightlifters don't use front squats. They use back squats, otherwise known as high bar squats, otherwise known as bodybuilding squats, same movement. And so when we see folks using front squats for hypertrophy, we're like, I get it. It's a fine movement, but there are some downsides. Jared, what are some downsides you're familiar with front squats?
When you're trying to do sets of 10 to 15 in the front squat, and you're not just dive bombing, kind of like so when you watch an Olympic weightlifter do the front squat, they are doing it with a similar technique generally that they would catch a snatch or a clean and jerk in. Mm-hmm. So they're using that stretch reflex in the bottom of the hole intentionally, and they're coming up out of the hole powerful, very powerful. We're not doing that when we're training for hypertrophy. So if you're doing sets of 10 to 15 with a nice controlled and slow eccentric, leaning into that deep stretch at the bottom, trying to maintain an upright torso, by rep 6, my elbows are done, or if you're crossing this, my chest is caving, my erectors are like, hey, f you.
If your chest isn't caving, the bar rolls into your throat and chokes you.
Yeah.
If your chest is caving, it prevents you from taking big breaths of air with your lungs, and you run out of air before you run out of quad stuff.
Yeah, for hypertrophy, I've programmed front squats approximately 0 times my entire coaching career.
Yeah, I mean, I used to do them back when I was a dummy.
The mechanics are the exact same for a heel elevated back squat, high bar. It's the exact same mechanics. You take the bar, you take it from your clavicle, you stop choking yourself out. I get it, you're a masochist, whatever. Put it on your traps, you get more load. You can actually lean into the technique a lot more properly, and you don't have to worry about not being able to breathe by the end of the set.
Yeah, and if you are already doing back squats in your program and you need to replace front squats, but not with back squats, old trusty hack squat takes its lunch pail to work every time, clocks in, clocks out, pays its union dues. Nothing wrong with that. It's a great machine, and it allows you to do that thing where you push your knees really far over your toes and stay very upright. I would say completely upright, which means that mechanically it actually does what the front squat's supposed to do, but better and with basically no limiting factors.
Exactly.
It's not super compressive on your spine nearly as much. It doesn't round anything over. As a matter of fact, if you pinch your shoulders into this, it's kind of impossible to round over because you'd have to get out of the machine to do that. There are very few degrees of freedom. You can place your feet in a position that gravity wouldn't even allow. You would just tip over in a front squat. So now that exaggerated knees over toes quad feel is something you can do even better with hack squats. The only big downside of hack squats compared to front squats is it doesn't give you like Milo magazine vibes.
Yeah, you don't look athletic.
You're not like a training hall 1988 Bulgarian weightlifter, which listen, that's a fucking vibe. But like, they don't judge your quads at the beach on vibes. Right. You want big delts, comma, you're an animal, barely restrained from wilderness impulses. You grab 2 giant dumbbells. What do you start doing? You start swinging them around, one arm at a time. End of conversation. That's it. Or
you could replace that with a good exercise.
What?
Like the Super ROM lateral raise.
What is the Super ROM getting me that the swinging 1 arm at a time front raise isn't?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, if you want big lateral delts or big delts, let's just say big delts. What you're talking about is big lateral delts. So you want the protrusion from the side here.
And there is a protrusion.
Big protrusion. The front delt gets hit oftentimes with most of your pressing and things of that nature. If you want some extra front delt work, hell yeah, that's what's up. But if you're mostly just doing those swinging 1 arm front raises, you're not hitting the meat and potatoes of the thing that you're literally trying to achieve, which is the big lateral delt look. So if you can just, even the front raise, if you could just take your palms and do this thing here and just, you're gonna hit a lot more lateral delt, but we can one up that and take it out to the side and one up that and do a super ROM where you're getting a huge eccentric on the way down.
And your front delts will get hit on that top end. So it's like kind of everything is better about that exercise. 100%. It's just back to the old relationship of I want to be able to, yes, the algorithm. I need an exercise to train my delts, but I need to impress Lindsay. And so it has to be really heavy. So I pick an exercise that's conducive to heavy. I do it in a way that is the most stupid way possible to lift the most weight. Can you do the front raise? Yes. Can you do 10 other delt exercises? Yes. But we picked the super ROM lateral raise to be a real juxtaposition to this exercise. Like, it does everything right this thing does wrong. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, you may think that girls are impressed with how much weight you're lifting at the gym, but to be completely honest, they frankly just don't give a shit. What they do care about is that you have massive, veiny delts. Jerry out here almost drowned last week. I saw a lifeguard pull him out of a pool of female ejaculate. That's how much my boy is swimming out here. You feel me? Hopefully we've been instructive, and I think that's the whole video. Scott, can we outro it right now? Yeah. Guys, 2 things. Choose your exercises wisely. Try a bunch of different ones. Try the ones we said aren't that great. Try the ones we said that were great. Make your own choice. There's tons of other better options. And honestly, when you're out there and a girl kind of seems like maybe she's a little crazy, she's probably crazy.
Yeah, big takeaway. There's no exercise you have to do. So just because you see it in all the magazines, you see it in all the YouTube videos, if it doesn't jive with you, you get a really bad stimulus to fatigue ratio, which is another big reason we picked a lot of these exercises. Great stimulus, lower fatigue. You can just do more volume with them. You don't have to do the exercise you're not jiving with.
And here's another thing. You can do a bunch of different exercises. Nobody's judging you. In just the same way that Jared and I have done all of these exercises before and have gained lots of muscle with them that we say are not maybe ideal and you should try another one, we also did incredibly well with the replacements and arguably better. And in just the same way, Jared, are you going to say that you have not been around some crazy girls before? We'll see you guys next time. Like, play Jenga with each other? She's like, no, I want to play Jenga with your balls, you idiot. And you're like, wow, that's actually kind of rude.